Ortiz too, man. Break it down for me.
It's a good fight. The first fight was great. Ortiz looks like he's coming to the fight. He's hungry. He looks fit, more fit than the first one. But with Wilder, it's hard to bet against him. He can land that shot from 1 to 12, from round 1 to round 12. And it can end the whole night. It can change the whole night for somebody. So I gotta go with Wilder. It's hard to go against him.
Do you think he's fighting the better fighter in Ortiz than Tyson Fury?
I think Ortiz is a better fighter than Tyson Fury.
Or like more skilled, like presents more problems.
I think he's a better boxer, but I think I think Fury is more slick,
more defensive, better reflexes.
And that's the type of style that you need to beat a fighter like Wilder. You can be a good boxer, but if you get hit with that one shot, it can change the whole night.
Yeah. So you think he'll do it knockout? You think it goes late or you think early?
I think late.
Late?
I think late. I think Ortiz is going to be in his A game in the beginning. As he gets tired, as he starts slowing down, Wilder will catch him.
Does it surprise you if Ortiz wins? No? So you really think Wilder's going to win?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if Ortiz won.
Yeah.
He's a great boxer. At one point, he was, one of the top guys. He was a lot of guys was ducking him. So if he wins, it wouldn't surprise me.
How would you see him getting that knockout?
Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, how would you see him getting that knockout? How would he make it happen though, Ortiz, if he pulls off the upset?
Making it a boring night, going in there and just using his legs, using his boxing ability, staying out the way and just pop shotting Wilder.
How do you counterpunch a guy though when he's taller than you? And like Wilder, he's good at being tall.
I mean, he would have to slip some of his shots. Roll up under some of his shots, slip some of his shots to hit him with a counter.
Isn't that taking quite a risk from Ortiz? He could risk getting knocked out, walking into a right hand trying to do that.
I mean, he could listen with Wilder. You can get it from the stool, and he can hit you from across the ring with the right hand. So, you're taking a chance in general.
Ortiz, his body physique looks a little more toned, we'll say.
This is the best shape that I've ever seen him in. I noticed that when we were going to we were on the same flight going to the press conference in LA. And I saw him, I didn't even recognize him. I said, damn. I said, he looked slim and fit and trim. And then that's when I found out that he was working with Coach Wade, and I said, okay, now I know one thing's for sure. I can guarantee the fans, and you can mark it down. Ortiz will be in the best shape of his entire life, and I'm not just saying that. He's always in good shape, but he will be in great shape, and I think that will make a difference in the action in the fight. I think that this will be a faster paced fight, and I think the fight will end in a knockout.
The first fight obviously did end in a knockout, but there was a lot of drama leading up to that. Ortiz went down a couple times. Wilder in the 7th round, if there would have been 30 more seconds, he may not have made it out of the round. Do you think that extra conditioning could be the key that someone like Ortiz could actually pull off this upset?
Well, anything's possible. We've seen that 2019 has been the year of the upset, and that's what makes for great fights. We know that we will see the best version of Ortiz, and I guarantee you we're going to see the best version of Wilder. And the best man will win on that night. We know what Wilder brings to the table. He's defended his WBC title a number of times, and he's always looking to fight the best guys that are out there. And again, that's why I have a great deal of respect for him, because he's putting it all on him. He's putting it all. He wants to fight all the top guys that are out there, and he's not overlooking any of them. But first thing first, he has a tough challenge in front of him on November 23rd with Ortiz. And Ortiz is looking to fuck the whole thing up, upset the whole apple cart. He knows that contracts are signed for Wilder and Fury to be fighting on February 22nd. And he's looking to disrupt the whole thing. And he has a great opportunity to do that. Will he get it done? Tune in to Fox Pay-Per-View. November 23rd.
Did I say it right, bro?
Wilder Ortiz, what's gonna happen? Is it a repeat or?
It's a repeat. That he ends it earlier.
Earlier, yeah. Why is that though? Why is it different in the rematch?
I don't know. He's a monster.
Yeah.
He's scared. Ortiz is gonna be scared.
Yeah. Because he's already felt that power. Is that it?
He already got his ass knocked out. That's the bottom line. He's already scared.
Yeah.
Just asking about Wilder versus Ortiz. It was a life and death fight for Wilder the last time around. Does that concern you? You're sitting here, Bob told me the other day he thought the fight could do 5 minutes. You hear him now talking about these massive gains. Does it concern you Wilder is taking such a difficult fight for him against a guy, a big puncher like Luis Ortiz?
No, it doesn't concern me. You know, Luis Ortiz, like I said before, is 147 years old. So Wilder should knock him out quicker than he did last time. I believe Wilder will get down in a couple of rounds. Catch him early and he's gone. He's got no legs underneath the guy. Like I said, he's 147 years old. It was a clash of styles before, first time probably he fought southpaw, who was experienced. So I think he'll get him out there quite quick. I'm not concerned, but even if the worst does happen, Wilder gets cheating around, then when every door closes, another one opens. So what's meant to be will be. We can't alter what's going to happen in the future. We have no control on it. So I only can control myself and do what I've got to do, my end of the deal. And I look to do that in October the 5th or September 21st, whichever one we go. And I can only do what I can do as a fighter to prevent it happening to me.
What do you think about that Wilder-Ortiz fight that's going to be right here in 3 weeks?
Well, I don't know why that Wilder did it.
Right?
Somehow you beat the very best, the guy that nobody wanted to fight, that nobody accepted the invitation to fight him. You beat him? Okay, go on. You did it. Why give a guy another chance who that good? But he chose to do it, so we just see can he do it again.
I mean, wouldn't you say at this point in his career, I mean, no telling how much longer Wilder has. He's been doing it for a while, but maybe his legacy, wanting to prove, the doubters wrong, say that he can't fight a southpaw, say that the person that had him hurt the most, that almost had him knocked out, that he can get back and beat him. I mean, this is only going to be a second rematch, and the last one we saw how that ended.
The thing is that, Wilder, he got a lot of confidence. I'm like, he's the only person I ever seen. I'm like, I'm very confident. And sometimes I just look at him and I say, but I started boxing at 8 years old, so I knew all this stuff. He stopped boxing at about 19 or 20. I'm saying, how many people at 19, 20, when they get hit, they come forward? Most people, they go backwards. Because he come forward, he get too close for the guy that hit him. Because he taller than him. I'm saying, he's a smart guy, and got a lot of confidence. And confidence is the key to victory.
The heavyweights, they're both explosive. They could knock you out in any second. But I think Wilder is stronger. He's in his prime right now, and I think he's gonna win it.
With the heavyweight division stacked with talent, do you think Wilder is the best fighter at that weight class?
Yeah, I think so. I think Wilder is the best in that division. He's the best heavyweight right now, and I don't think I've seen anybody beating him right now.
I know you're a big Wilder supporter. You think that he takes care of business in this rematch?
I think so. Ortiz is only getting older. He's a beast, of course, but Ortiz is only getting older. Wilder, I mean, they can say what they want about his skill and stuff, man, but that right hand and that either left hand, right hand, he just got the power. God gave him that power, that gift, and when he catches anybody, we seen it with anybody, he's gonna hurt him. Like he hurt all his opponents. I think he's been into the neutral corner every time. I think same thing like all my fights too. I got 24 fights. I went to the neutral corner every time in all my fights. So same thing with him. He's been in neutral corner he's like what, 40-0, 41. He's been neutral corner every fight. So that it just shows you like how much power he has. And all it takes is one. 12 rounds. Luis Ortiz, I think he's going to improve. He's going to see what he did. He did hurt Wilder in the last fight with them two. He hurt him. But I think Wilder might find him a little easier this time, just like he did with Stavern. Yeah, he first round him. Last time it was 12, first round him. The last time he fought him. So I think it might be this. I can't say the first round with Ortiz, but I think he'll stop him again.
Risky fight. Ortiz again. It's a risky fight, but again, I can what I can see, because I like Wilder. Yeah. I like him. I can see Wilder going out there and knocking out Ortiz in the first couple of rounds. That's what I can see. But the reason it's risky is because Ortiz almost got him out of there last time. Ortiz almost stopped Wilder. He hurt him and almost stopped him. Joshua's lost. If he loses now as well, it kind of does that to the fight that everyone wants to see, Joshua Wilder. But Joshua again, it's boxing. You know, when Joshua lost, everyone was saying, "Oh yeah, I'm happy." Some people were saying, "I'm happy." I'm like, "You're a hater. Move from you. You're not coming to me with that. Why are you happy that he lost? What's he done to you?" Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's saying to me, "I'm glad he lost."
Yeah, I know.
Why are you glad he lost? Like, he's doing a lot for British boxing. Like, why? What does he do that's so bad? Do you get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of haters out there that are doing all this stuff and saying all this mad stuff. I hope Joshua can go out there and win his belt back. I hope Wilder can win this fight, and then you can get a big boy clash on. I'll be at that fight watching, because it's going to be an entertaining fight.
Luis Ortiz, people that support him made a lot about him getting this great strength and conditioning coach, Larry Wade. Do you think that's enough when you're in your 40s, even 40 years old, to turn back the clock at all?
Well, I mean, I think he had to do something different, you know, using the same game plan, especially at this late stage in the game, to do everything he possibly can to get himself in tip-top shape, which I think he has. It's the smallest he's been in, you know, quite some time as far as coming into a fight under 240 pounds, giving himself a best chance, especially if it go late as far as stamina-wise. We know as far as you get older, that's probably one of the first things going to go. Power is going to be there, but the stamina is the one thing he's going to have to worry about. So putting himself in this position, yeah, I think it's a good thing.
They polled about 20 writers today on ESPN, and all 20 picked Wilder, 19 by knockout.
Yeah. It's easy to pick the fighter, you know, that's younger. It's easy to pick Deontay Wilder, the guy that's the champion, you know. Those guys don't want to make themselves look bad. But myself, you know, I look at Ortiz, I look at not just the path that he's taken to get here, but, you know, the one loss on his record is to Deontay Wilder, a guy that he had in a whole lot of trouble within that fight, a guy that could have actually walked out the winner of that fight if certain circumstances would have played out in his favor. So, as well as I looked at his little girl crying at the end of that fight at the same time, and that right there is a motivating factor, I think, for any man watching his little girl, you know, crying. You don't want that, you know. That's what I don't know if you guys got kids, especially if you have a daughter. I got a 9-year-old daughter, and I would jump in front of a train for her, and I'd pick up a car if I had to. So I think that right there is going to be a huge motivating factor, as well as this could be his final shot to become champion. And he's got Cuba riding on his back. He got so many young little Cuban that's looking up to him, saying, if King Kong Ortiz made it, I can too. So that right there, I think is going to be a motivating factor. Can he win this fight? Of course he can.
Well, you think it'll go to distance?
You know, I don't think it's going to go to distance. Somebody's going to get knocked out. I think I look at Deontay Wilder. His confidence is soaring like I've never seen it before. He actually seems like, you know, the air that he has right now, that he could be any man. That's just the way he feels, and that could be a detriment. That could be a mistake. That could be the one thing that works against him, going out there looking for the knockout, such as he did with Berman Stefan, the second fight, such as he did with Dominic Brazil. But I do think Luis Ortiz is a different type of animal, and they don't call him King Kong for nothing.
You feel like there's anything we overlook with Wilder?
I don't think
anything we underrate?
No. I mean, Wilder, he won a bronze medal in the Olympics. To win a bronze medal in the Olympics, that means you're among the elite fighters anywhere in the world. So he didn't win the gold medal, but he was in there with, like I say, top fighters around the world, and as well as he was young, as well as he started late. So for him to win the bronze, it says a whole lot about his character. It says that he has a whole lot more improvement left there to learn as well. So I think Deontay Wilder is finding himself. He's falling into who he really has become. At 34 years old, is taking that.
All 20 picked Wilder. So do you agree with that? Do you think?
I do agree. I'll be a hypocrite if I say no. Ortiz, I see his physique, and they're like, no. I mean, it looks good on TV. No lie. You know, Ortiz looking fit, looking ready, but was it too much work? I mean, I feel like a 40-year-old man should train smarter than harder. What I mean by that, I mean, you can't take that physical, punishment at that age and still deliver fight night. I felt that it's almost impossible. Who knows? He did give Deontay Wilder's first scary moment. Almost had him out in that 7th round. A fighter that is all around fantastic technical fighter. He's got that Cuban style, softball, dangerous. But at the end of the day, like Deontay says, it only takes one punch, and that's all it's going to take. One punch, and I see a knockout.
Is it that you think Ortiz overtrained, and is it possible with more weight off, he can't take the shot as good?
I believe he overtrained, exactly. With more weight, he was able to capture a little bit more punches. He was able to walk down at moments, Deontay Wilder. But now with all this cut, I don't see him taking that. I see him, being more fragile, you could say. But yet, we'll yet have to find out. But with all that said, it's still going to be an exciting fight because he's no pushover. He's no, fighter that, he's just showing up for a paycheck. No, he's definitely taking advantage of this opportunity.
Everyone talks about Wilder's power, but do you think he's figured Ortiz out heading into the rematch?
I know. The only thing that is mentioned about Deontay is his power because he is that powerful guy, takes out a guy with one punch. But let's also remember that he's been evolved into a great fighter. He's learned so much from that first fight against Ortiz. He went on to fight
for Fury,
Tyson Fury, which he got a draw, and he learned a lot more in that fight. And it showed when he fought Brazil. He took him out in 1 round, and I think it's going to show on this rematch.
You think he can still get better at 34, 35 years old?
Oh, yeah. And his mind is so open to learning, to getting better. And this guy's a guy that's taking fights like this that he shouldn't because he wants to be that man. He wants to be one of the greatest. And come Saturday night, guess what? It'll be his 10th title defense. It'll put him right next to Muhammad Ali on the most title defenses.
When you look into this rematch, do you see it ending earlier, or do you think Ortiz makes it a tougher fight this time around?
People always say to me, yeah, you can be outboxing for Wilder, or people always say it in general. And then he can land a shot in the last 10 seconds. Yeah, guess what? He can land it in the first 10 seconds as well.
Mm-hmm.
If he lands flush, there's a chance of the fight being over. But last time, I think fatigue was a big factor for Ortiz. So it's an interesting one. That's what we're all here to see.
Well, he's made a lot about the new conditioning coach he has. Larry Wade, great strength coach. But is that at his age enough to?
Strength and conditioning is good to a certain degree. But it's going to boil down to tactics. If he gets his tactics wrong, he's getting knocked out. Simple as that. Strength and conditioning coaches are great, but doing an extra 10 press-ups ain't going to win him this fight. Simple as that.
Would he be best suited to not try and start this fight quickly against Wilder, to kind of take his time in there, or do you think he should jump on him?
What he has to do is he has to try and make Wilder put his right hand back in his pocket, so to speak. When he fires it, he needs to fire straight back at him and say, listen, you miss and you take a risk, I'm catching you. And if you use that to make Wilder put his right hand back in his pocket, he stands himself with a better chance.
If you had to wager it though, Ben, who is
Wilder?
Early, late, middle?
Around mid, between 5 and 8. But listen, anything can happen. Like I say, anything can happen. If he gets a bit too complacent early on and doesn't set things up and takes a risk, Ortiz can time him and counter him. If he sets things up and he's smart and times it right, he can get the fight done early as well. So it's an interesting one.
Talk to me about that fight. How do you see the fight playing out?
You know what? I massively respect Deontay for even taking that fight. I don't believe he necessarily needed to go back down that route. But I like the fact that he wants to do that and actually make it a bit clearer, because he got as much as he won, he was losing. He was losing, and I think he wants to make that a bit clearer. But it's a dangerous fight because we've seen the boxing ability in terms of the two of them. Technically, Ortiz is an amazing boxer. For a heavyweight, he moves like a lighter weight, to be fair. But I'm very I really support Deontay and what he's doing. It's just like, I want to prove to everybody that I can go twice. It's the same result's going to happen. I love that. So I do predict a knockout by him. I just don't know how it's going to go beforehand.
Does this fight happen easier for Wilder this time, or is it Ortiz who turns the tables?
I think, man, we're going to handle that all night. I think it's going to be a harder fight for both guys. I think Ortiz is in better shape. He's dropped 10 pounds. who's one punch away from winning the heavyweight championship in a row. He knows he can hurt Wilder. Now, Wilder also knows he dropped him, so I didn't want him stopping him. So the confidence on both guys got to be sky high. I think Ortiz got to come forward. I think that come forward, that's his best chance. And for me, the best bet all night, it doesn't go 12. Somebody's going to go.
Ortiz coming forward, doesn't that give more opportunities for Wilder to get him out of there with the right hand?
All you got to be, you backing the guy up. If you're smart, you're hitting him with your jab, tapping him, you're backing him up. No, but you let him come forward, that's much more dangerous than coming forward throwing that big right hand. You know, Ortiz can't stay on the outside. He did it the first time, it didn't work. He's got to come forward. And believe me, he's in better shape. He's got to have that confidence zone. He was one punch away from dropping him, possibly knocking him out. You got to have that confidence going with that. If I hit you right, I'm gonna hurt you again. So you got to believe that. You got to believe that.
When I think about it, Boom Boom, you said back him up. He was able to make Deontay go back in straight lines a few times in that first.
That's what you got to do.
Right.
You know, and being
because he can't escape.
And the southpaw is the hardest guy to fight. So you give Mango, you slide this way, you slide to the right. But you're throwing punches all the time as you slide. You know, Manny Pacquiao does it the best. Manny Pacquiao, he slides, he's always throwing a punch. When he slides one way or the other, he's always throwing a punch. And you got to always watch for it. That's what Ortiz got to do. That's his best chance. But I tell you, Ortiz knows he can hurt him, and that's great confidence.
Is there anything you're looking for Wilder, like heading into the Fury rematch? Anything you're looking for?
No, you can't be going to look past it. He knows what's there. I think he's got to beat this guy. Luis Ortiz is going to be a formidable opponent. Being a southpaw, he's got a lot, to be the first Cuban heavyweight of all time, to be a heavyweight champion. And he was so close before. No, you got to focus on this guy. Everything else will be out there. Everything else is still there once he wins this fight, if he should win it.
I mean, I hear you. He looks better. He looks trimmer than ever. But he is 40, Ray. Yeah. Isn't it possible he's not the guy he was?
They say 40, so that's close. The Cubans add another 3 or 4 or 5 years to that.
Right. But isn't it?
I think Deontay beats him. I think Deontay knocks him out. I think, like I said, it doesn't go to distance. I think it's a give and take. I think Ortiz does hurt Deontay during the fight once again. I think it's an action-packed fight. I think it's going to be one of the best heavyweight fights in years.
Is there anything we underrate about Wilder? Talking all the ways about the right hand, is there things we overlook that you see?
His left hand, because he got a hell of a jab. He got that left hook coming from the blind side. Everyone knows about his right hand, but he wings that left hook. That left hook is just, to me, that's the punch you got to watch for.
Because he got Wilder.
Oh, yeah, Wilder. I think Deontay beats him.
And Ray?
In a great fight.
You got Luis Ortiz fighting on Wilder again.
Well, obviously, Deontay's in a lot tougher than what Tyson's in. Ortiz showed in the first fight that he's still very, very capable. He found a way to land that left hand on Deontay in the first fight, and he shook him up for a round. But Deontay showed the champion's heart by surviving, coming back, and then putting on display his uncommon one-punch knockout power and getting him out of there. Personally, I think the rematch will be a lot easier for him. Yes, I really do. I think that Ortiz has looked very cumbersome in his last couple of fights. Both of them went the distance. He looked like a fighter who was starting to show his age. Some people will say, well, he never really had the big challenge in front of him, so for him to get up for. But the opponents that he was in with, I think he should have made the fights a lot easier.
Anything can happen with heavyweights, and his fight last time with Ortiz was quite, Ortiz gave him a really good fight, didn't he? There's no doubt about it. I tend to agree with Tyson, though. He's an older guy, and I think Wilder would be on a bit of a high. I'd be very surprised if he got beaten, but if he did, then what can you do?
The main event, of course, Wilder and Ortiz. How do you see that?
I like Wilder in the fight, but overall, I look at Ortiz, and he got in shape, it looks like, for maybe one of the first times in his life. He comes from another country, he's happy to be in America, and so forth, but I think he looks like he really trained for this fight, and he looks a lot better shape than I've ever seen him in. And it should be a hell of a fight, I think. With these two guys going at it, both are great punchers. They can knock each other out. They definitely both have power, So it's who gets there first.
So you think that kind of strength and conditioning stuff is going to make Ortiz better than he was for the first fight? Because he is 2 years older.
Yeah, 2 years older, but much better condition. Looks a lot better. In much better condition, better shape, and it looks like he's really coming to win this fight. So I mean, let's face it, he has one more chance, and this is it.
The Wilder-Ortiz rematch, do you have a prediction on how that fight goes about?
I still like Wilder. I think Wilder is going to win again by knockout. I can't tell you what round, but look, Ortiz is a really good fighter. He has the potential to go the distance. He would have the potential to win, as you saw in the first fight. But I think with the adjustments that Mark Whelan is going to make, I think Wilder probably will be so much better than the first fight.
Wilder versus Ortiz 2 will be happening. Do you have a winner in that fight?
It should be good. It should be interesting. I think Wilder's usually looks better in rematches, like he did with Stavern. So I think he figured it out, Ortiz, and I think he'll knock him out in the rematch.
Andy, you mentioned the WBC belt and Wilder. He has a big fight against Ortiz. It's a big rematch. How do you see that fight playing?
I see that fight going. I think Wilder's gonna take him out. I think Ortiz. He's a really good fighter. He's a veteran fighter. He's an older fighter as well. But I think Wilder's gonna. I think he's gonna win by knockout.
What do you think about just the other heavyweight fight, Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz?
Also very good boxers. No question. Very good, but I think one day I can fight with him too.
What do you see in this fight?
I pick Wilder. I mean, for things that it's kind of hard to prepare for a Wilder. With his athleticism, with that big right hand, and I think for Ortiz, for Wilder, in terms of Wilder, he can find guys that can emulate an Ortiz style quicker than Ortiz can find someone to prepare, for a Wilder style fight. So just on those things alone, I think that Wilder will be more. Wilder will surprise Ortiz more, and he'll win the fight.
Do you think Wilder does things in there that we don't give him credit for? Because everyone likes.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. He's doing things that that traditional fighters, won't do. You know what I mean? But he also has eyes because he has a great trainer in Mark Brilliant, where he knows what his opponent is doing. So people think that it's a method to the Wilder madness. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what his camp says.
He's all over the place, but he knows what you're doing. He knows what your next move is. You just don't know what his is.
Yeah, because it looks like that IQ might be a little underrated when you watch the tape. It looks like he's kind of setting traps for the right. He's not just out there.
Sean Z, you point out a good point. That's what I'm seeing in him. I mean, you don't become, arguably one of the baddest guys on the planet on accident. So I don't take anything from Ortiz, but I think Ortiz just has a traditional style that Wilder was able to prepare for.
Right.
Again, after seeing him the first time and then able to come back and prepare, I don't think that the Ortiz camp has the same ability in Wilder's fight style.
One thing they do got in Ortiz's camp though is Larry Wade. We know him out here in Las Vegas.
Coach. No, I think that Ortiz is going to come prepared physically. He's going to be prepared mentally, but from a style standpoint, you won't actually get a chance to see Wilder till you get in there because it's no sparring partners that can emulate that style to prepare for it. But the opposite with Wilder, you can bring in somebody to emulate Ortiz style. They might not be as explosive, but they'll have that same style of fighting.
So you see it knockout around what time, or a decision maybe even, or?
At this level, I mean, even though I'm picking Wilder with the way they sling that leather, I think it can be a knockout at any given time.
Right.
But I tend to lean more with Wilder.
Right. Because Ortiz can punch too, so it's probably going to be a knockout, right?
Yeah. It'll probably. I would be safe to say it'll probably be a knockout.
We have another Cuban heavyweight fighting pretty soon, Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz. First question I want to ask you about that: Does he know Ortiz from the amateur days in Cuba? And the second question is, how does he think that fight's going to play out?
que hay una pelea ahora en el 23, que es Ortiz, que si tú conoces a Ortiz en las peleas amateur, ¿y cómo tú crees que va a ir esa pelea?
Sí, yo conozco a Ortiz y sé que va a dar un buen espectáculo ahora en esta pelea que tiene con Wilder. Todo lo mejor y que gane el mejor, ¿entiendes? Gane el mejor primeramente, pero aquí lo reemplazo yo y voy para arriba también. Y cuando tenga la oportunidad de pelear con uno, con Wilder, el otro, cualquiera de ellos, aquí voy a estar presente.
He met him. He fought together with him. He practiced together.
Yeah.
We're in the same town. He's wishing the best for the fight, and we hope he wins. But he's ready for anybody, and we are ready for Wilder. Anybody that wins the fights, we are coming up too.
So let me ask you a question. This is a serious question. It might sound funny, but if you look online, when it comes to Ortiz, everybody says that he's way older, like 75 years old. They make jokes about his age. Is there any truth to that? Like is he the age that he says that he is, or why do you think people say that about him to begin with?
Que todo el mundo habla de la edad de Ortiz, que si es la verdad que es la edad de él o es mayor, o qué tú piensas de eso.
No, esa es la edad que él tiene, esa es la edad que él tiene.
He's at his age, and we should have a good fight for it.
A lot of people are saying Wilder's crazy for taking this rematch because it's just a huge risk for him. What do you think about this rematch between Ortiz and Wilder?
But Luis tried to get the belt back, he's hungry to get the belt back. Everybody's fighting for the belt. Yeah. Everybody wants the belt. So Luis, he tried to go for the belt. That's just the opportunity. If he loses the belt, there's no way he can fight Joshua. Yeah. So he tried to fight, because if he doesn't win the belt, there's no way he can have the belt. So the belt is going to be someone else in the future, because Deontay Wilder is not going to hold the belt forever. He's going to drop the belt until it's out. So the only thing, that's why Ortiz, he tried to come up to train hard, to train extra hard, because in the fight he was out of gas.
He was.
Yeah, he was out of gas. Deontay Wilder was out of gas too. But Deontay Wilder was still up as a champion. It's hard to maintain champion. But Deontay Wilder is a champion, it's hard to maintain the champion. So that's why it's up. That's why he was tired, but he bought the time, never tired. He keep coming up with the jab. Throw most careless punches, throw the high hand, most careless high hand, you know what I mean? Yeah. So those are the things, So Luis Ortiz was out of gas.
Deontay Wilder's a true champion, but this is a dangerous fight for him, right?
But hopefully it's a dangerous fight. But now he has in the first rematch. That's the experience for him for the rematch. He's going to know what happened in the first fight, so he's going to pick everything I did in the first fight. He's going to do better in the rematch.
And when he fought Laverne, he fought him in the rematch, knocked him out in the first round. Exactly. So people feel like Deontay's going to be better.
Yeah, so it's going to be better than the first fight. It's going to be better in the first fight more than the rematch. So it's Luis wicked point. So somebody is going to go for another knockout, because sometimes if the fight was close. If the fight was close, it's going to be dangerous. But Deontay Wilder knocked him out in the first fight, so the rematch is going to be easy. So there's no way it's going to be dangerous for him, because he put everything. He watched the first fight, he saw his mistakes.
He knows what to expect.
Exactly, he's going to see his mistakes. So that's why he's going to put everything in the rematch. Trust me, it's going to be a big fight. It's going to be an amazing fight. So I go for Deontay Wilder. There's no way Luis going to beat him. Trust me. Luis Ortiz is a good boxer, but not for Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is too powerful for Luis Ortiz. Ortiz is a very good boxer. He box, move. He makes Deontay Wilder look confused in the first fight. So.
But once Wilder lined him up with the right hand, it was
so
all
when
over.
he threw the right hand, he was out of gas. That's why, Luis was. No, I don't know why nobody wants to fight Luis Ortiz, So
he's a dangerous fight. He's stylistically a big southpaw who can punch. Nobody wants to fight that guy.
So that's what it is, because.
So you got to give credit to Wilder.
So like I said, this is boxing. This is heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen.
Hey Floyd, who you see winning this rematch tomorrow night?
Between
Wilder and Ortiz.
Same man. Same thing.
Same thing.
Earlier this time?
Huh?
Earlier this time? Earlier in the rounds?
I can't say about the round, but I can say that about the one I
did it last
called.
It'll be the one.
Will be the one.
You see Wilder as the best heavyweight, Big Floyd? You see Wilder as the best heavyweight, or Fury, or Ruiz?
It ain't no fighter like it was. It was no fighter like it was when we was coming up and stuff. It ain't like that now. So right now, the guys right now, I call it half-ass fight.
In the heavyweight division?
In all divisions.
Okay. Matthew, who do you fancy in this fight, Wilder or Ortiz in this rematch?
I think it's hard to look past Wilder, but I do think that Ortiz is a live underdog. Definitely, he's dangerous. He's very, very well schooled, technically brilliant fighter. Technically a better fighter than Wilder, but Wilder carries that dynamite in both hands, and he's boxing savvy and ring savvy and IQ. He's underrated. He's he can have all the power in the world, but if you don't land them, it doesn't matter. And he lands them, and against good fighters when he needs to, he finds the gaps, he gets the shots, and always closes the show. So, I think you have to favour Wilder, but I definitely appreciate the threat that Ortiz brings to the table here. He's a very technically well-schooled boxer, and he carries the power to hurt Wilder too. He had him out on his feet in the last fight, so it's a dangerous fight for Wilder, but one I think he comes through.
Ortiz, when he had him out on his feet in that seventh, the round ended shortly thereafter, and it looked like he punched himself out a little bit.
Yeah.
He hires the great, strength coach Larry Wade. Do you think that'll be enough? Say he's got better conditioning this time. Is that enough?
Yeah, but I think also when you hurt someone, you've got to be careful, because you hurt them, you get an opportunity. You want to try and go for the finish, definitely. But if it's not, and this is a judgment call when you're in the midst of it, and it's like an instinct. If it's not there, like what you do, you keep trying, and possibly put yourself out, or you pull back a bit, and keep the gas for later on, and maybe get a second opportunity. But I suppose you get someone like Wilder, who's so dangerous, hurt. You try and throw everything into it, and he definitely did gas out at that. He gassed out. He punched himself out, and I think it's quite noticeable. Everyone's saying how much better, leaner he looks. He's lost 20 pounds. So I think he's worked hard on his conditioning, and also not carrying that extra weight. He'll be more mobile, more agile. His speed, his movement will be better. So I think Ortiz means business, and he's coming for the win, no doubt. But Wilder, he's I don't know, he's the favourite for sure.
Well, Ortiz is saying someone's getting knocked out, and you almost even get the sense he might come out quicker. Is that a bad idea? So should he just wait for his opportunity to come again, like he did in the first fight?
I think he should wait for his opportunity, because don't change who you are, in my opinion, for Ortiz. You're a clever technical boxer that tries to set traps, and I think that's what he should stick to. If he tries to come out all guns blazing, I don't know. I wouldn't go into a shootout with Wilder. You know what I mean? I think he should be. He's a thinking man's fighter, Ortiz, and I think he should stick to that.
Speaking to the traps you said about Ortiz, does Wilder set traps as well to get that right hand off, you feel? Or
yeah, like I say, I think he's ring savvy. He's boxing IQ. He's underrated. He's not. Sometimes he's unorthodox, and he does throw some haymakers sometimes that aren't technically in a textbook. But he's effective, and it works for him. But he wouldn't have achieved what he's achieved and got to where he's got on just power alone. He's not. He doesn't just carry power. He would have been. That would have been exposed by now. That's all he had.
Well, it's funny though when I ask about the traps and things like that, the IQ fighter. You and Devin Haney, lots of guys who have been at the top of boxing. They do chuckle for a second, like. I don't want to get too far praising his boxing IQ and his skills.
He's a ferocious puncher. That's his standout feature, without a doubt. But he's still good in other areas. He may not be, look, his power is his big thing, but he's.
What about his speed? What about his speed?
His speed, I think he's got decent speed. He's never really been outspeeded. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, but the other thing, when you find someone like Wilder who hits so hard, carries that power, you're constantly under threat. You know, you're burning nervous energy at a far quicker rate. And if you're boxing a guy that can't punch, you can sit there. You don't have to flinch or react as much. You know what I mean? But when you're watching someone like Wilder, you're on high alert. You know, you're kind of cut ready. You're reacting to everything. He gives you a feint, you're going to react to it because you know he carries that power. So you know all your senses are heightened. You know, which drains the battery a lot quicker. So you know, it's trying to relax in there against someone like that. But like I said, that's easier said than done when they carry that kind of power.
Is that why sometimes the pace in his fights are slow? Is the other guy just doesn't want to make a mistake?
Yeah, totally. You know, because he got that power, he commands respect. He can dictate and control things because the threat, even if nothing's happening, it's the anticipation of something happening. People are like wary. They're very, like you said, they're totally switched on. They're like very wary of making a mistake that they're going to pay for. Because you know, if you make a mistake with him, it could be over.
So ultimately, is he your pick for the night?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think most people will pick Wilder in this fight. But like I said, it's not a foregone conclusion by any means. Like Ortiz showed that he can hurt him. Even though he lost the fight, he'll take a lot of confidence from that fight, and he's obviously looked at things like his conditioning. He'll think, you know, if I catch him again, either I need to go all out and get the finish, or maybe if I don't, I'll go for it. But if I don't get it, maybe I'm just going to pull back and, you know, bide my time and try and get another opportunity.
You see it happening earlier or about the same time as the last fight, or even a decision?
I don't know. You just don't know. These guys that are in heavyweight boxing. I think Wilder knocks him out midway, something like that. I don't think early on because I think Ortiz is too cagey and cute and clever. But I think, you know, the fight will open up, and I think Wilder will land a shot and knock him out.
Do you think Wilder is going to win it easier?
Well, you know, to show you how good Ortiz is, and show you how good Wilder is, because, you know, Wilder, all he got to do is do the same thing. He do the same thing, he still got it. But, you know, as Ortiz make adjustment, then Wilder have to prove how good he is to come back to redo it.
Because Ortiz almost had him knocked out at the end of the 7th round. He was in bad shape.
I wouldn't think he almost had
almost out on his feet. How's that?
He called him a good shot, and you got to give Wilder credit, because he know what to do, know what he did. He didn't go backwards. He went straight towards like that and took two more shots and grabbed the guy and hold the guy. You get knocked out when you pull away from the guy. You give the guy a chance to really get you dead. I'm talking about, so he made a smart decision in that aspect. But then he came back and throwed it down the pipe and boom, like that. The whole big thing is now is that, you know, in these fights like this, it have to do who can make adjustment. You know, when you talk about great fighter, a great fighter had to make adjustment. Because you know what? You know, you just can't be champion one time and everything going with you. When somebody rise up to the point and take it, what you have to do, you have to make some adjustment. So how many people can make adjustments to show you how great you can be? And I remember when they were telling me, did I want to break Ali's record? I was just coming out of the Olympics. I said, no. They said, why? I said, that means I had to lose. I said, I ain't planning on losing nothing. You know, and you better believe it, ain't no fighter out there planning on losing. But in the fact that it happened, you got to make some adjustments to show how great you are to be able to come back. And so, you know, there's a lot of, there's a lot of, it's about 3-time heavyweight champion, but ain't number 1 4-time.
The only one.
That's it.
How do you think the rematch would be?
Well, I mean, Ortiz comes to fight. He's one of my favorite guys. I think that Deontay is just getting a little bit better each time. So, and Lord knows he has that one quitter hitter. So, I just see it going in the same direction, being the same circumstance, and Wilder's gonna come up with the victory.